You don't need to scream to win a war. You don't need revenge. You need composure. Because the man who stays calm while the world throws dirt destroys his enemies in silence, not with fists, not with words, but with unshakable presence. And that terrifies them. This isn't about being passive. This is about being dangerously composed. Stoicism is the mindset of warriors, leaders, and men who move with purpose. When enemies provoke you, they're begging for your reaction. Give them nothing, and you take everything. Control your emotions, and you control the outcome. This video isn't a motivational speech. It's a toolkit. 7 ruthless Stoic rules to silence your enemies forever without lifting a finger. Here's the truth. You react too fast. You argue too much. You're chasing validation from people who don't respect you. That's weakness, and the world sees it. You can't silence anyone if you can't even silence your own impulses. Stoicism isn't for monks. It's for men who want power, discipline, restraint, mental warfare. Starting now, that's who you become. Because if you want to dominate in silence, you've got to earn it. Rule number 1, the rule of indifference. Not all battles are worth fighting. Let fools waste their fire. Your enemies want one thing from you, a reaction. They don't need to beat you. They just need to pull you out of character. And the moment they succeed, you lose. Not because you're weak, but because you gave them your energy, your time, your peace. You need to understand this. Not every insult is a threat. Not every provocation deserves your attention. There's power in knowing when to speak, but there's domination in choosing silence. A man governed by every comment, every stare, every online jab is a puppet, and the strings are pulled by people beneath him. You can have talent, drive, intelligence, but if you can't ignore the noise, you'll never hold power for long. Most men waste their lives reacting to everything. They take every slight personally. They start fights just to prove they're not afraid. But here's the truth. You don't need to fight to show strength. You need to know which fights are beneath you. Epictetus said it best. It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. You're not upset because someone disrespected you. You're upset because you believed it meant something. You chose to value their opinion. You handed over your peace for free. Stop doing that. Indifference doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're untouchable. Let them mock. Let them bait. Let them act like clowns. A man who doesn't flinch while chaos swirls around him. He's dangerous. You want to silence your enemies. Don't argue. Don't clap back. Don't post passive-aggressive quotes on your feed. Just stay still. Work harder. And let your silence speak volumes. Here's how you apply it. Step 1. Decide what actually matters. Not everything needs your energy. Before you respond to anyone, ask yourself, does this build my mission or distract from it? Step 2. Delay the reaction. You feel triggered? Pause. Give yourself 10 minutes. Sometimes 10 seconds is enough. You'll realize most things aren't worth a single word. Step 3. Get comfortable with misunderstanding. Let people think what they want. You don't owe anyone clarity. Your life is not a courtroom, and you don't need to prove your innocence to the weak. Indifference is not apathy. It's the muscle of emotional strength. You're choosing to be still, not because you can't fight, but because you already won the second you refuse to step into the mud. So next time they come for you, remember, you're not in the ring, you're in the stands, watching them tire themselves out while you stay focused, unmoved, and completely in control, because some battles are only meant for the insecure. And silence is the only response that truly breaks them. Rule number 2, the rule of internal control. He who controls himself controls the room. Here's the brutal truth most men avoid. You are your own worst enemy. It's not them. It's not what they said. It's not the situation. It's you, your reactions, your inability to control your anger, your fear, your impulses. And until you master yourself, you'll always be a slave to others. Look around. Weak men lash out. They yell to be heard. They insult to feel power. But real power doesn't shout. It doesn't flinch. It walks in, says nothing, and the room adjusts. That's what internal control does. It turns your silence into tension, your stillness into dominance. The moment you let someone else dictate your emotional state, you lose the game. They've already won, because they made you dance to their chaos. You didn't break them, they broke you. If a man can poke your pride and watch you explode, you're predictable. And predictable men are easy to manipulate. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not a quote for your Instagram bio. That's a battle command. Because when you control yourself, you don't just survive conflict, you command it. This rule isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about governing them. It's about training your mind to pause before it reacts, to assess before it attacks, to respond with purpose, not instinct. Your enemies don't need to defeat you. They just need you to act without thinking, to throw a punch that gets you arrested, to send a text that ruins your leverage, to rage out and destroy your own credibility. You want to silence them? Master the art of calm dominance. Here's how. Step 1. Journal every trigger, every insult, every moment you felt disrespected. Write it down, then study it. Why did it bother you? Where did it come from? Was it even real, or just ego? Step 2. Build pause into your reactions. A man who takes 10 seconds before responding is a man in control. You don't owe the world an instant answer. Hold the pause. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Step 3. Use anger as a compass, not a weapon. Anger is a signal, not a command. Don't suppress it. Channel it. Lift heavier. Work longer. Get sharper. Let your progress be your retaliation. Internal control is your fortress. It keeps the chaos outside. You become the eye of the storm. Calm, unshaken, deadly focused. Because the truth is simple. Men who can't control themselves get controlled by others. But the man who owns his emotions, he doesn't just control the room, he owns it. Rule number 3, the rule of minimal speech. Power speaks less. Weakness rambles. A weak man talks too much. He explains. He defends. He fills every silence with noise. Why? Because he's uncomfortable with being misunderstood. Because deep down, he's afraid of being forgotten, ignored, or dismissed. But here's the truth. Power doesn't beg to be heard. It speaks when necessary, and only then. If your words are cheap, your presence becomes worthless. Every time you overtalk, you drain your authority. Every time you over-explain, you hand away leverage. Every time you argue to be understood, you give the enemy control of the narrative. Let me make this clear. Powerful men don't explain themselves. They demonstrate, with action, with precision, with silence that forces the world to lean in and wonder, what is he thinking? Minimal speech is not about shutting up. It's about sharpening your tongue into a weapon. Every word should be intentional, like a sniper's bullet, measured, focused, and final. You don't need to argue your worth. You don't need to convince people to see your side. You don't even need to correct them when they lie about you. Let them dig their hole. Because when the truth finally arrives, it doesn't need a speech. It needs a mirror. The man who talks less doesn't lose control. He takes it. He chooses his words like a chess master chooses his moves. Never rushed, never wasted. Here's what you need to unlearn. Stop thinking silence is weakness. Stop trying to win conversations. Stop performing for attention. Most people talk because they're uncomfortable with stillness. They need approval. They crave validation. But silence is uncomfortable only to the insecure. You want to train your dominance. Start here. Step 1. 1 hour of verbal minimalism every day. No unnecessary words, no filler, no commentary unless it adds value. This isn't about being rude. It's about building discipline. Step 2. Kill the habit of over-explaining. You don't owe anyone a TED talk about your choices. Make the move. Walk away. Say less. Let your results do the explaining. Step 3. Respond with questions, not defenses. When they accuse, deflect, or provoke, flip the pressure. Don't justify. Challenge. Let them expose their own weakness trying to explain themselves. You don't rise by being louder. You rise by being undeniable. And when you can hold silence without fear, your enemies will start fearing you. Because the quiet man, he's thinking, he's planning, he's watching, and when he moves, it's already too late. Rule number 4, the rule of composure under fire. Anger is the enemy's trap. Stillness is your sword. You're not truly tested when everything's going right. You're tested when the heat's on, when someone disrespects you in front of others, when your ego is bleeding, when you feel cornered, insulted, or betrayed. And in that moment, you have a choice: explode or own the room in silence. Understand this. Anger is bait. It's emotional warfare designed to make you self-destruct. Your enemies don't always want to beat you. They just want to watch you beat yourself in front of everyone. Real power doesn't panic. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't raise its voice. Let me give you a real-world example. 2013 NBA Finals. LeBron James is getting heckled, not just by fans, but by media, by critics, by his own legacy. Every play scrutinized, every mistake magnified. And when the pressure hit its peak, he didn't throw a tantrum. He didn't snap in interviews. He adjusted. He focused. He delivered a game-winning performance and walked off without a word. His silence ended the conversation. That's composure under fire. Because here's what most men don't get. When you're calm in chaos, you become untouchable. Not because you avoided conflict, but because you commanded it. People lose composure because they want to feel right, not be effective. They yell, they argue, they react like it's instinct. But instinct is for animals. Men move with precision. You want to dominate your space. You want to silence those who doubt you. Then learn this. The calmer you are when things go wrong, the more dangerous you become. Here's your action plan. Step 1. Train the pause. Every time you feel the fire rising, stop. Take 10 seconds. Feel it. Don't run from it. Don't react. Just own the space. This is your battlefield now. Step 2. Master nonverbal control. Your face, your posture, your breath. They speak louder than words. Maintain eye contact. Keep a neutral tone. No twitch, no tremble, no fidgeting. Let them see the storm in your eyes, but never in your actions. Step 3. Review the chaos after it passes. Don't just survive pressure, study it. Every encounter is training. Every trigger is feedback. You either get sharper or stay reactive. Composure doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you choose when and how to strike, if at all. Because when you're calm under fire, the other side starts questioning themselves. Why isn't he reacting? Is he planning something? Did I just make a mistake? And just like that, you flip the dynamic. Stillness isn't surrender, it's strategy. And when you wield it with intent, your enemies don't just lose the battle, they drown in their own noise, while you stand above it. Rule number 5, the rule of purpose over pettiness. Never let noise distract you from mission. You weren't born to fight every fool who throws shade. You weren't built to waste energy on gossip, hate, or childish jabs. You were made for mission. And every second you spend feeding pettiness is a second stolen from greatness. Look around. Most men lose, not because they're outmatched, but because they're distracted. They take detours to argue online. They chase validation. They get dragged into drama with people who don't even matter. You want to know why your enemies keep winning? Because they know how easy it is to pull you off course. All it takes is one insult, and there you go, off track, emotional, trying to prove a point to people who are already beneath you. That's not strength, that's submission, and you don't even see it. The Stoics had a name for this: wasting the self. Seneca said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary." Meaning, if you bleed for every petty thing, you'll never have the strength left when it actually counts. Your mission in life, whatever it is, must come before your ego. Because when your purpose is real, you stop engaging with anything that doesn't build it. Let me break it down for you. Enemies are irrelevant unless they threaten the mission. If they're not standing between you and your purpose, they're not your enemy. They're noise. And your job is to keep walking through the noise without breaking stride. Imagine a man building an empire. He's laying bricks, focused, disciplined. Now imagine someone yelling insults from the sidelines. If he stops to respond, he delays his progress. If he argues, he gives the other man power. But if he keeps building, eventually the noise fades, and the empire speaks for itself. That's the Stoic approach. So here's how you master it. Step 1, define your mission clearly. If you don't know what you're building, everything feels like a threat. Clarity kills distraction. Know what you're here to do, and remind yourself daily. Step 2, starve the irrelevant. Don't respond. Don't explain. Don't defend. Let your progress be louder than their opinions. When you move with purpose, silence becomes your strongest argument. Step 3, audit your energy. Ask yourself, did this interaction move me closer to my goal? If not, cut it. Train yourself to treat pettiness like poison. No matter how tempting, you don't drink it. Purpose is a shield, and when you carry it, no enemy can touch you without meaningfully interfering with your path. That's when you strike. Until then, ignore, rise, building. Because when the mission matters more than your pride, you become unstoppable. Not because you're the loudest, but because nothing petty can reach you anymore. Rule number 6, the rule of before retaliation. A real man pauses before the punch. There's a moment, right before the insult lands, right before the tension spikes, right before your blood boils and your fists clench. It's less than a second, but it's everything. Because what you do next, that defines who you are. Most men react, fast, emotional, instinctive. They mistake impulse for strength. But let me be clear, that's not power, that's programming. You are raised to think the faster you react, the stronger you are. Snap back, swing first, fire off the text. But that's not masculinity. That's emotional slavery. You're not thinking, you're just obeying your anger. And any man who obeys his emotions isn't in control, he's in chains. A real man pauses, he reflects, he analyzes, he measures the consequence before the strike, because he knows the cost of reckless retaliation. The Stoics were surgical about this. They believed that space between stimulus and response was sacred. That's where mastery is born. You want to be the most dangerous man in the room, then train yourself to pause, not because you're scared, not because you're soft, but because you're calculating. See, retaliation feels good in the moment, but it rarely serves the mission. It burns bridges, wrecks reputations, and gives your enemies exactly what they wanted: your peace, your energy, your time. Here's your reality check. The loudest man loses. The first to throw the punch usually ends up in cuffs. The one who reacts without thinking always pays the highest price. So here's how you reclaim your power. Step 1, the 10-second pause rule. When provoked, pause. Take 10 seconds. Don't speak. Don't move. Just own the space. In those 10 seconds, decide, is this a threat or just noise? Step 2, analyze the intent. Not every insult is personal. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's weakness trying to look tough. When you take a second to understand why they acted, you stop taking it personally. Step 3, respond with strategy, not ego. Maybe you walk away. Maybe you make a calculated move later. Maybe you say one sentence that ends the conversation forever. But whatever you do, make sure it serves your mission, not your pride. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to build empires. And empires aren't built on reactions. They're built on restraint. Don't confuse silence with weakness. Don't confuse stillness with surrender. The man who pauses before he retaliates is not uncertain. He's in control. Because power isn't about throwing the first punch. It's about knowing when to strike and when to let your enemy destroy himself while you watch. Rule number 7, the rule of the silent reputation. Let your results humiliate them louder than words ever could. Nothing cuts deeper than a man who doesn't respond, because he doesn't need to. He lets his work speak, his progress echo, his silence. It becomes unbearable to those who tried to tear him down. This is the highest level of Stoic dominance. You stop arguing, you stop defending, you stop showing up to every petty battle thrown your way, and instead, you build, you elevate, you win, quietly. Most men exhaust themselves, proving they're worthy. They beg for credit, they fight for validation. But understand this, the man who lives in the shadows and delivers results in the light becomes a ghost they can't escape. No warning, no noise, just impact. Here's what you need to know. When you stop talking and start executing, something powerful happens. They stop laughing, they stop doubting, they stop speaking your name because your success makes it burn on their tongue. Your reputation becomes your response, your growth becomes your revenge, and your consistency, that's what breaks them. You want to silence your enemies? Then shut up and level up. Let them run their mouths. Let them gossip, mock, doubt. They'll go quiet eventually, right around the time you become undeniable. This is the rule that separates boys from men, because anyone can post a quote. Anyone can bark back online, but only a disciplined man can show up every day, put in the work, and say nothing until the results do all the talking. You want power? Then take the 30-day challenge. Starting now, speak less, do more. No announcements, no bragging, no broadcasting what you're about to do. Just build. Every day, one action at a time. Focus on fitness. Focus on finances. Focus on mastering your craft. And keep your mouth shut. Let them wonder why you went quiet. Then watch their faces when they realize you outgrew them in silence. Because if you keep showing up with results, the loudest voices vanish. Not because you silenced them with words, but because they choked on your success. And that's the final rule. You don't win by shouting louder. You win by becoming so good they can't exist in the same room without shrinking. So stop explaining, stop proving, start executing, and let your results haunt the ones who swore you'd never make it. These aren't tips. They're not hacks. They're weapons. Tools forged for the modern warrior, built to cut through chaos without raising your voice. Stoicism isn't about being soft. It's about being deadly in silence. Because when you master these 7 rules, you stop chasing revenge and start commanding respect. You don't need to destroy your enemies. They'll do it themselves, ripping themselves apart, trying to spark a reaction you've already outgrown. Calm isn't weakness, it's precision, and it's time you learn to wield it like a sword. If you're done living like a reactor, if you're done whining, fighting, explaining, and losing, then it's time to lead like a man. Apply these rules now, today, not tomorrow, not when life slows down. Now speak less, think sharper, move with purpose, and when the noise comes, smile and keep building, because silence isn't surrender, it's your final weapon. Like this video, subscribe if you're ready to dominate, and drop a comment below. Which rule slapped you awake? Because this isn't therapy, this is war. And in war, the calmest man always wins.